Hi guys, I'm going to be interviewing Brian Level. Ta-da!
Hello.
Okay. So, what made you want to get into comics to begin with?
Like you mean to like draw them and stuff?
Yeah.
I've always read comics since I was a kid, and I've always kind of had a natural inclination towards storytelling. So it was kind of a natural thing that I could do that I didn't need other people, and I could kind of have control over that. And then kind of parents or people kind of try to get in the way, but also try to help because they tell you well, how can you make money at this? How can you do this or that? Well, make sure that you have to work for Marvel or DC if you want to make any money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I kind of took a step back from it, and then as time went by and I kind of honed my craft, that's when I kind of stepped back in. And since then, things have gone much smoother and more. It's been more advantageous for me.
Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot. How did you get started? What was the very first thing you wanted to do?
Honestly, it kind of started with making short films. A buddy of mine and I wanted to make some short films, and then we didn't have the budget or the time to do certain things, so we thought, well, maybe we can start by experimenting with these ideas on paper as comics first, because we'd both grown up with comics, and so we drew a comic based on one of the things that we wanted to make as a film, and then found that we liked the medium a lot, and so I started developing my own things, and met a couple of people and started working on some stuff with other people, and kind of got my name out there on Twitter, and social media has been huge, Twitter in particular.
I follow you on Twitter.
Oh, nice. What's your name on Twitter?
Rockin' Rebel 45.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure to give you a follow back too.
Do it.
But yeah, you'll get that hot Brian Level follow, folks. But no, we started doing it that way, and then it kind of garnered a little attention on Twitter, and then I started working on The Brothers James with Ryan Ferrier, at Ryan Ryder on Twitter, and he was kind of hooked me up because Michael Walsh had to vacate his position on a certain book because of another thing, and that's how I got my first paid gig, was through social media ultimately. So.
Awesome. What kind of roadblocks or struggles have you ran into?
Just finding the time. It's a very time-intensive thing, doing comics. It's not a simple, you just sit down and now you made a comic. You sit down and you work your butt off for hours and hours and hours, and then you have one page done. And that's not to be discouraging, it's just reality. A lot of people aren't prepared for the reality of the amount of work that goes into it's a crap load of drawing. If I end up swearing, please edit it out, because I swear a lot. So. But yeah, it's a lot of drawing, and a lot of people I don't think are really prepared for that volume of drawing until they actually start doing it, and then you're like, oh wait, I can do this, or oh wait, I can't. So you've really got to be a fan of work.
What inspired your ideas? How did you come up with them?
They just kind of happen. It's funny, David Lynch one time in an interview with the filmmaker said that a lot of stories for him just appear as pieces of a puzzle, and he knows there's a man in the other room who knows the whole thing. So he goes and he gives that piece to the man, or something like that. And then as time goes by, more pieces show up, and he keeps dropping them into that room, and then after a while he starts to say, okay, all these puzzle pieces are starting to take shape. Now I can actually make a story out of this. So that's how it happens for me a lot too, at least I feel like it, in a way less surreal way than he does. But definitely they come in pieces or in ideas or simple concepts, and they spiral out from there, and then it's just the idea of, I'm talking about kind of writing now, and I'm not much of a writer. That's kind of how stories come to me.
That's cool. Very interesting. What were some of your favorite comic books growing up?
When Mark Bagley and Eric Larson drew Spider-Man, that was my jam. Well, that's not true. I drew a lot of Arthur Adams stuff, from the cards, but I also redrew a lot of Mark Bagley stuff. But I read a ton of the Larson and Bagley Spider-Man books at the time, so that was a huge influence for me.
I love Spider-Man.
And Daredevil. Oh god, it's the best.
I love Spider-Man.
Daredevil was a big thing too.
Yeah, I liked Daredevil too. Him and Spider-Man, I think, should do a movie together.
It would be really. I'm really curious to see how that would play out.
Yeah, I've had conversations with my friends about it. What are you currently working on? I'm currently working on Suicide Squad Most Wanted for DC, and I'm doing the Killer Croc centric story. So it's 2 issues over there, and then That's really big.
Yeah, thank you. I've had a really good year, really lucky, whatever you want to call it. Very, very, just been very fortunate.
Yeah.
Because I've got that book. I did some Batman earlier this year.
Especially with the movie coming out and everything.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky. It was a good gig.
Yeah.
Good gig to nab.
Mm-hmm.
But after I did some Deadpool earlier last month, and then but when is this going up? Because I just got another job, but I don't know if it's okay for me to talk about it.
End of the year.
Okay, so I got another job, another Deadpool thing that I'm doing. It's not really a big secret. But yeah, so that'll be my next thing that I'm doing. Is another Deadpool thing.
That's cool. Deadpool's very big too, with his movie coming out as well.
Yeah. Like I said, very lucky guy.
Oh yeah. What are your future plans? Like, what do you want to do in the future?
I want to continue to put out the best art that I can, but moreover, I just want to really establish myself as a good storyteller, and hopefully move into writing some more, for pay instead of just for my own fun, and just get some more stories into the world that I believe in and that I think might, because I don't know, I feel like I have a perspective, just like everybody feels like they have a perspective, so I'd like to get a chance to explore that a little bit in the pages of comics. So ideally, I'd like to write and draw my own stories down the road.
That's awesome. Would you like to say anything?
This is for people that potentially would be interested in working in comics. Is this who this is for?
And yeah, anybody who's even interested.
Just don't get discouraged. Just keep working. Because if you're working at it and you go back 1 year, you'll be able to look at your work today versus a year ago and blow your own mind. So just don't give up. Keep pushing forward because you're always making progress even if you can't see it at the time. That's a huge thing because I have to do that to myself. I have friends that are very, very much bigger pros that are always reminding me, dude, shut up, look at a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right, I'm an idiot.
Friends like that are always the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.